You will not believe what happened on the latest episode of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. Just when fans thought they had seen everything, Kimmie and Maurice shocked everyone with something no one expected. It all started in a normal way. They were having a fun conversation, laughing and joking like they always do. Everything seemed light and playful. But then, out of nowhere, they made a grooming joke that left everyone in shock. The internet reacted right away, and people could not stop talking about it. Here's how it all started. Kimmie and Maurice were sitting together. Kimmie and Maurice were talking and laughing, not knowing they were about to cause a big problem. They were joking about relationships, teasing each other in a fun way that fans always enjoy. But then, Kimmie said something about grooming habits, and right away, people started to react. To her, it was just a simple joke, nothing serious. But here's the shocking part, it did not go the way she thought. Instead of making people laugh, it made everything feel different. The moment the words came out of her mouth, everything changed. There was a short, awkward silence. Maurice's eyes opened wide. He looked surprised by what Kimmie had just said. But instead of ignoring it, he joined in and added his own twist to the joke. You will not believe what happened next. Maurice made a sarcastic comment that took the joke even further. It pushed the limits and went straight into controversy. It was bold, unexpected, and it immediately split people into different sides. This is where it gets interesting. Fans rushed to social media right away, and the debate started. The reactions were strong. Some people laughed and said it was just a joke. They believed others were making a big deal out of nothing. But many were not happy at all. They felt Kimmie and Maurice were being rude and not thinking about how their words might affect others. Social media exploded. People argued back and forth, and each comment was more intense than the last. Just when it seemed like things could not get any bigger, someone shared a clip of the moment online, and it spread everywhere. But here is the most surprising part. It was not only the fans who were upset. Some of the cast members were just as shocked as the viewers. Behind-the-scenes footage later showed how uncomfortable everyone felt. Destiny, especially, looked uneasy. Her face showed a tight smile, but it was clear she did not agree with the joke. You could feel the tension in the room. Not everyone thought the joke was funny, and it made things feel heavy. But this story is not just about the joke. It is about the deeper issues it brought up. The grooming joke touched on sensitive cultural topics. The joke started a big talk about stereotypes and respect in relationships. People began to ask if jokes like this were helping spread harmful ideas. The discussion quickly moved beyond the show, with social commentators and influencers getting involved. They looked at every word and thought about what it really meant. What started as a moment on reality TV became a much bigger conversation. The craziest part? Kimmie and Maurice did not apologize right away. Instead, they stood by their joke, saying it was meant to be light and not serious at all. Kimmie and Maurice stood their ground, saying people were making too big of a deal out of it. It was just a joke, Kimmie said in an interview. Her tone was defensive, but she did not apologize. If you know us, you know we love to joke around. People need to relax. But this only made things worse, and the backlash grew stronger. Things got even crazier when fans started looking for old clips of Kimmie and Maurice. They went through past jokes and comments, trying to figure out if this was a one-time thing or part of a bigger pattern. Some fans even called for them to be canceled, saying they needed to be held responsible. Some people defended Kimmie and Maurice, saying that the critics were being too sensitive and not open to humor. The community got divided, and the argument showed no signs of stopping. Then, things took a surprising turn. The backlash grew so strong that the producers of Love and Marriage, Huntsville, had to step in. They released a statement saying they understood the fans' concerns and promised to be more careful in the future. However, they did not blame Kimmie and Maurice for what they said. The producers did not directly address the issue, which made things even more complicated. People started to accuse them of protecting Kimmie and Maurice instead of focusing on the real problem. Then, just when it seemed like the controversy was about to calm down, someone from the production team secretly shared new information. They said that the grooming joke was not a surprise at all. According to this person, producers had actually told Kimmie and Maurice to push the limits, create drama, and get more attention. This news changed everything. Fans were outraged, feeling like they had been tricked and betrayed by a show they once loved. Here's where things get even more interesting. The attention shifted from Kimmie and Maurice's joke to the bigger question about the ethics of reality TV. People started asking how much of the drama was real and how much of it was planned just for views. Were other controversial moments also scripted? How far were the producers willing to go to get ratings? The scandal grew bigger, shining a light on the darker side of reality television. The craziest part? Amid all the chaos. In the middle of all the chaos, Kimmie and Maurice stayed quiet. They refused to make any more public statements, which only made people wonder more. Were they being told to stay silent by the producers? Or were they planning to do a big interview to clear things up? Fans were left guessing and started looking closely at every social media post for hidden meanings or clues. But here's where it gets even more surprising. Even with all the drama, the controversy actually helped the show's ratings. People who had never watched Love and Marriage, Huntsville before started tuning in just to see what all the fuss was about. In the middle of all the chaos, Kimmie and Maurice stayed quiet. They refused to make any more public statements, which only made people wonder more. Were they being told to stay silent by the producers? Or were they planning to do a big interview to clear things up? Fans were left guessing and started looking closely at every social media post for hidden meanings or clues. But here's where it gets even more surprising. Even with all the drama, the controversy actually helped the show's ratings. People who had never watched Love and Marriage, Huntsville before started tuning in just to see what all the fuss was about. The show stayed at the top of social media for days, with hashtags about the controversy filling up timelines everywhere. It became the ultimate paradox. The joke that upset so many people ended up being the biggest ratings boost the show had ever had. This is how one small joke turned into something much bigger. It started a big conversation, divided fans, and showed the hidden tricks behind reality TV. Kimmie and Maurice might have meant it as just a light joke, but it turned into something much larger. And even now, as the dust begins to settle, the impact of their words continues to ripple through the fandom. But here's the craziest part: this story is far from over, with so many questions still unanswered. Fans are eagerly awaiting the next episode, wondering how Kimmie and Marsau will handle the fallout. Will they apologize? Will they double down on their stance? And what about the producers? Will they finally admit to their role in the controversy? One thing is for sure, the drama is just getting started. Stay tuned, because this is only the beginning of a scandal that no one will forget. And trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. You won't believe what went down at the Love and Marriage Huntsville reunion. Just when everyone thought it was going to be a routine wrap-up of the season's drama, Kimmie threw shade so sharp it left everyone speechless. Let me tell you, this was no ordinary moment of SS. It was calculated, bold, and it hit right where it hurt the most. But here is the shocking part: no one saw it coming, not even the host. This is how it all started. The reunion was already tense, with emotions running high as old wounds were reopened and unresolved conflicts were brought back to the surface. The cast was navigating through a minefield of accusations, betrayals, and broken friendships. It was supposed to be about clearing the air, but Kimmie had other plans. Her demeanor was calm, almost too calm, as if she was waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when she did, it was brutal. It began innocently enough with a question directed at Kimmie about her relationship with Tisha. The host asked if there was any lingering tension between them. Kimmie took a deep breath, glanced at Tisha, and then delivered the line that would echo through social media for days: "You know, I've always been supportive, even when others were busy pretending to be perfect wives." You won't believe the look on Tisha's face. Her jaw literally dropped. She tried to compose herself, but the damage was already done. Kimmie's words hung in the air, heavy with implication and accusation. This is where it gets interesting. The room went silent. It was the kind of silence that only happens when someone says something so cutting that no one knows how to respond. Tisha's eyes widened, clearly stunned by the shade Kimmie had just thrown. But before she could gather her thoughts to respond, Kimmie continued, her voice steady and her eyes locked on Tisha. "I just find it funny how some people like to act like their lives are so perfect, like they've never had a struggle or a challenge. But here's the shocking part: we all know the truth. The tension was thick, and the audience could feel the heat radiating off Tisha as she tried to process what had just happened. The other cast members shifted uncomfortably, clearly caught off guard by Kimmie's boldness. Even the host was speechless, unsure of how to move forward, and just when everyone thought the situation couldn't get any more off awkward, Kimmie dropped another bombshell. She looked directly at Tisha and said, maybe if some people focus less on appearances and more on reality, they wouldn't be so unhappy. What makes this story different? This wasn't just shade, it was a public airing of private issues that no one expected to be brought up on national television. Kimmie's words cut deep, and it was clear that she was addressing rumors that had been swirling around Tisha's marriage. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. The implications were loud and clear, and Tisha knew exactly what Kimmie was referring to. The craziest part, Tisha didn't see it coming at all. She looked blindsided, her confident posture collapsing as she struggled to find a response. You could almost see the wheels turning in her head as she tried to decide whether to clap back or stay quiet. But before she could decide, Kimmie delivered the final blow. I'm just tired of the fakeness. Some people need to stop pretending like their lives are so perfect when behind closed doors it's a different story. You won't believe how this escalated. The audience gasped and social media exploded. People were tweeting in real time, trying to piece together the hidden meaning behind Kimmie's words. Was she confirming the rumors about Tisha's marriage? Was this revenge for something that happened off camera? Fans were divided, with some praising Kimmie for being real and others accusing her of being unnecessarily harsh. But here is where it gets even more shocking. Tisha didn't take the bait. Instead of reacting in anger, she maintained her composure, forcing a smile as she responded, well, if that's how you feel, then I guess we were never really friends to begin with. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of hurt. The audience could feel the pain behind her words, and suddenly the narrative began to shift. Was Kimmie the villain after all? This is how things took an unexpected turn. Just when it seemed like the drama was about to explode, Destiny jumped in, trying to defuse the situation. She attempted to change the subject, but Kimmie wasn't done yet. She interrupted Destiny, her voice firm as she said, I'm not here to play games or pretend. If people are going to throw stones, they need to remember that they live in glass houses. Her statement was direct and unapologetic, and it sent a clear message. She wasn't afraid of the backlash. But here's the shocking part. After the reunion aired, rumors began to surface that Kimmie's shade wasn't spontaneous at all. Insiders claimed that she had been holding on to this resentment for months, waiting for the perfect opportunity to confront Tisha. Some even speculated that producers encouraged Kimmie to speak her mind to create drama and boost ratings. This revelation added another layer to the story, leaving fans questioning how much of the drama was real and how much was orchestrated for the cameras. This is where it gets even more interesting. Fans started analyzing old episodes, looking for clues about Kimmie and Tisha's friendship. They revisited past interactions, noticing subtle moments of tension that they had missed before. People began debating whether Tisha had been throwing shade at Kimmie all along, only to be exposed in the reunion. Social media was buzzing with theories, and the drama refused to die down. The craziest part, even after all the backlash, Kimmie remained unapologetic in an interview. After the reunion, Kimmie stood by her comments, saying, I just told the truth. If people cannot handle it, that is on them. Her boldness surprised fans and made the controversy grow even bigger. But here's where it gets even more shocking. Tisha finally responded, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of firing back, she shared a cryptic message on Instagram that read, sometimes silence is the best revenge. Fans were left stunned, reading her post as a sign that she would not get involved in Kimmie's drama. This is how a few shady comments. What started as a few shady comments became one of the most dramatic moments in love and marriage Huntsville history. Kimmie's words not only showed the problems in her friendship with Tisha, but also uncovered tensions that had been building for months. Even now, fans are still breaking down every detail, and the drama is far from over. With so many questions still left unanswered, people are waiting to see how this will all play out. Will Kimmie and Tisha ever make up, or is their friendship beyond repair? Will Kimmie face any backlash from the rest of the cast? The other cast members may have strong opinions about Kimmie airing her dirty laundry on national TV, but one thing is for sure, the fallout from this reunion will last a long time. Stay tuned, because this is only the start of a drama no one will forget. And trust me, the next episode brings even more shocking moments. You will not believe what Tisha said on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Just when viewers thought they had heard it all, Tisha dropped a bombshell that left everyone speechless. Let me tell you, it was not just a casual comment, it was a bold statement that. Tisha's bold statement caused a lot of drama, both on and off the screen. What made it even more shocking? She said it with so much confidence, like it was the most obvious truth in the world. It all started during a casual conversation. The ladies were laughing and talking lightheartedly about relationships and how to keep the romance alive in marriage. Everything seemed fun and easy until the topic of keeping a man happy came up. Kimmie joked about cooking and cleaning, but Tisha had a different thought. With a sly smile, she leaned in and said, "You have to twerk to keep a man," Tisha said, and the look on everyone's faces was unforgettable. Jaws dropped, eyes went wide, and there was a moment of complete silence before the room broke into laughter. But here's where it gets interesting. While some of the ladies laughed, others seemed uncomfortable. Kimmie raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised by Tisha's honesty. Destiny's mouth dropped open in shock, and she quickly tried to pull herself together, letting out a nervous laugh. But Melody? She was not laughing. Her face showed she was not happy with the comment. Melody looked straight at Tisha and said, "Is that what it takes now?" Her voice was sharp, and you could feel the tension growing in the room. Tisha did not back down. She stood firm, speaking confidently as she said, "If you are not keeping it spicy, somebody else will. You cannot just sit there and look pretty. You have to work for it." Her words were bold and unapologetic, sparking an immediate debate. Destiny quickly agreed, saying that keeping things fun and sexy is important in a relationship. But Kimmie wasn't convinced. She crossed her arms, her expression skeptical as she asked, "So you really believe that dancing for a man is the key to a happy marriage?" This is where it gets even more interesting. Tisha didn't hesitate. "Absolutely," she replied confidently. "Men are visual, they want excitement. If you're not giving them something to look at, they'll find it somewhere else." Her statement was blunt, and it left no room for argument. But here's the shocking part. Tisha didn't just stop there. She went on to explain that she believes women have to compete to keep their men, and that includes doing whatever it takes to keep them interested. You won't believe how the conversation escalated. Melody looked visibly annoyed, her eyes narrowing as she fired back, "If a man's loyalty depends on you twerking, then maybe he's not worth keeping." Her words were sharp and her tone was laced with frustration, but Tisha didn't back down. She shot back, "That's easy to say until it happens to you, then you'll wish you had tried a little harder." The tension was palpable, and the room fell silent as everyone realized that this wasn't just a debate, it was personal. The craziest part, Tisha's statement wasn't just a random opinion, it was a direct response to rumors about her marriage. For months, fans had been speculating about trouble in her relationship with Meryl, and some even accused her of being insecure about other women. But this is where it gets even more shocking. Tisha didn't just address the rumors, she embraced them. Kimmie admitted that she keeps things spicy in her marriage because she knows temptation is everywhere. "I am not blind," she said, her voice firm. "I know how women are. I just make sure my man comes home to me." That is when the conversation took an unexpected turn. It quickly became a heated debate about marriage, loyalty, and what is expected in a relationship. Destiny supported Tisha, saying there is nothing wrong with putting effort into keeping your partner happy. But Kimmie and Melody were not convinced. Kimmie shook her head and said, "If you are." Kimmie said, "If you're doing all that just to stop him from straying, then there is a bigger problem." Her words were direct and hit Tisha right where it hurt. But here is the surprising part. Tisha did not take it as an insult. Instead, she stood strong, speaking confidently, "I am not ashamed of wanting to keep my man happy. I know what I have, and I am not going to lose it to some girl who can shake her but better than me." Her boldness shocked everyone, and it was clear that Tisha was not backing down. What made this even more intense was how firmly Tisha stood by her beliefs. The story was not just about twerking or keeping a man. It was about how Tisha saw marriage and how far she was willing to go to protect it. Her words showed a deep loyalty, but also an insecurity that fans had not seen before. It felt real and raw, and it sparked a big debate online. The crazy part? Viewers were completely divided. Some praised Tisha for being honest and doing what it took to keep her marriage strong. Others criticized her for suggesting that women had to act a certain way to keep their partners. The debate became intense, with hashtags like #TeamTisha and #TeamMelody trending as fans chose their sides. But here's where it got even more surprising. Tisha's statement was not only controversial, but it also felt very personal. People began to question her relationship with Marsau. They wondered if her words showed insecurity or if she was simply being honest. Rumors about cheating started to spread, and fans closely watched every moment between Tisha and Marsau, looking for any signs of trouble. One simple comment turned into one of the biggest moments on Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tisha's words were not just about twerking. They were about her marriage, her worries, and how far she is willing to go to protect what she loves. Even now, people are still talking. Fans are wondering if Tisha's strong words were inspiring or a bit too much. But here is the most surprising part. The story is far from over. With so many questions still unanswered, everyone is waiting to see what Tisha will do next. Tisha's bold comment shook things up, and now everyone is wondering what will happen next. Will she stick to what she said or explain herself? How will Marsau feel about his wife's public words? One thing is for sure, the drama is just starting. The next episode promises even more surprises, and this story is far from over. Stay tuned because Tisha's statement has set off a firestorm, and the fallout will last for a long time.